You're listening to Blue Please here on CynicalBrit.com with myself, Total Biscuit. We've got way more stuff to talk about, and of course, we're doing Zerg Please at the end of the show, some live commentary on my first ever time playing StarCraft 2, popping the cherry, as it were. Right, so let's talk a little bit about Battlegrounds. Ooh, yes. So new Battleground changes on the horizon, folks. A lot of this was announced as part of an interview with Calgan in Game Informer. So, make of that what you will. Thankfully, Calgan was doing most of the talking. Every time Game Informer says anything, I have this annoying little twitch in my head. It's like, someone, somewhere in the world, is saying something incredibly stupid. I mean, bear in mind, this is the same magazine that thought that Earth Defense Force wasn't even worth talking about, that Alien vs. Predator was worth a 5, which it isn't. Having played the game, it definitely isn't, and if you think that it is, then you're an idiot. And, of course, the God Hand was worth a 6. Oh, no, yes, the best brawler on the PlayStation 2, definitely worth a 6. Yes, we don't want to get out of that. It's too hard. Game Informer. How much you do, in fact, suck. Right. Let's talk about this one, because, yeah, there are some interesting little bits of information that has been announced in this. So, the interview mentioned a couple of things, and then the Battleground points were then expanded upon. So the first thing is that the Dungeon Finder is probably going to be expanded out to 10-person raids. That's interesting. I do wonder how well that would work, honestly. Probably... no. How the hell would that work? God, let's apply this, right? Let's apply the principles of the Dungeon Finder tool. So, you look for a dungeon, and you get into the queue, and you group up, and that's it. Yeah? So you're in there, you've got 15 minutes before you can kick someone. Dungeon's generally done in under 15 if you're really good, or longer if you're not. And then you're done. You're out of there. So there's no cooldown on it whatsoever. If someone drops out, then someone else can rejoin in the middle of it. So, okay, that's a 15-minute dungeon. Now let's talk about a 4-hour show. What? No, let's not talk about a 4-hour show. God! That's terrifying. Don't you dare hold me to that, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you be evil. Let's not talk about a 4-hour show. Let's talk about a 4-hour instance, a 4-hour raid dungeon. So, you get in a group, you sign up, and your 10 people go in there. So you find your terrible DPSs in the first 15 minutes or so. You get to Marigal, some rogues doing 600 DPS, probably just with throwing weapons, thinks that's optimal, has a throwing weapons-based spec, in fact. Yeah, so you kick him out. So you get your new guy in. That's fine. You kill Marigal, you go on. Right, you're now a Death Whisper. Oh god, another guy's just DC, decided that his mother was more important than you were. That he wasn't dedicated. That he wasn't hardcore enough to manage this content. So he had to go because his mother said it was dinner time. Din-dins, little Jeremy. So he goes for din-dins, and you bring in someone else. Hang on a minute. You saved to the raid dungeon, ladies and gentlemen. How do you do that? How do you do that? You don't. So if some guy's saved, and some guy isn't saved, what happens? Does it look for people who are in the dungeon queue and saved at the same point as you are, then overwrites their dungeon ID? Because that would be really terrible and probably wouldn't work very well. I don't know, it might. It depends on volume, I guess. If you're looking at ICC and you look at how many bosses you've got in there, and then you take, right, okay, we're 4 out of 12 in ICC right here, and we're searching for another member because Jeffrey went to get his din-dins and won't be coming back. So, it's looking through the system to find someone else who is currently queued for ICC that is also 4 of 12 and then merging the raid IDs. It could work, maybe, supposedly, but what happens if it doesn't? What happens if it doesn't work that way at all, and it's only bringing in people that don't have raid IDs? Do people that really don't have raid IDs want to come into an instance and say, oh, damn, so you skipped the first 4 bosses, there's nothing I need now, I'm out of here yet again? It's a minefield. How are they going to pull this off? I really don't have any idea. But what was more interesting, which is something that's far more feasible, are the changes to the Battleground systems. So they're integrating the Battlegrounds into the Dungeon Finder. So they've got something very similar here. You're going to have random dungeons that you can join via the Dungeon Finder. And these dungeons, of course, are going to be Battlegrounds in the same way that you would expect them to be. So this post You can find, as always, on the wonderful MMO Champion. It's called Battleground and Honor Changes on the Horizon. Put this in the show notes as well for you. So here we go. This is from Zahim, and he says this. We have several changes planned for Battlegrounds in the next minor content patch. I would like to share them with you now. This patch will be available for public testing. We encourage you to participate, queue up, and provide some feedback on these changes. Firstly, say goodbye to Battleground Marks of Honor. We feel this currency system is outdated, and we're getting rid of it. You'll be able to hand these in for Honor later on, so don't cry. It's like, oh no, I have 300 Alterac Valley tokens. Why? Why do you have 300 Alterac Valley tokens? Are you some kind of masochist? But whatever the case, you'll be able to hand those in for Honor and it'll all be good. There'll be quest NPCs available. So next, the Battleground Holiday Weekend is now changed to Call to Arms in the Battleground tab and calendar. If you prefer a specific Battleground over all others, look for those words next to the name to determine whether or not you'll receive bonus Honor. The bonus awards for Call to Arms are as follows. If you win a Call to Arms Battleground for the first time in a day, you get 30 honourable kills. So, there's the thing, yeah? First in the day. It's just like the current dungeon system where you got the random dungeon of the day, and the first one you pick up gives you 2 bonus Frost. And then after that, of course, you get Triumph, which no one really cares about anymore. Next, additional Call to Arms Battleground victories after the first win will award you with 15 honourable kills worth of additional honour currency, and losing a Call to Arms Battleground awards a player with 5 honourable kills worth of additional honour currency. Yes, indeed, folks, everyone's a winner in World of Warcraft. It's a rather disgraceful attitude, isn't it? So, comment here. To bring the rate at which players obtain PvP rewards with Honor more in line with the rate at which players obtain PvE, we're increasing the amount of Honor rewarded for an honourable kill by 100%. Holy crap! That's a lot of Honor. They're also increasing, and this is what really interests me, this is really intriguing right here, the amount of experience provided from an honourable kill and the amount of Honor awarded for completing the Wintergrasp weekly quests has been reduced by 50%. Wait a minute, that's terrible! They're reducing the amount of experience provided by an honourable kill. Why? Why would you do that? It wasn't the point of it to allow you to level via PvP. Who's going to want to do that if they slashed the numbers in half? God, that doesn't even correlate. It's pointless. God, okay. I don't know. So, what possible reason could you have for this? This is stupid. Absolutely flat out retarded. Really. It's not related in any sense of the word to what's going on. But I understand. Okay, yeah, fine. Reduce the amount of stuff you get for Wintergrass weeklies, blah blah blah, change the focus, but XP from Battlegrounds has nothing to bloody do with it. It needs to be harder. No, it doesn't. What am I talking about? It needs to be easier. Sorry, I'm so used to saying everything must be harder in WoW. In this case, I've got to disagree. No, they have to increase the amount of XP that comes from it. Leveling via PvP is an interesting idea, and a bunch of other games already do it and do it well. Starting Online being prime example. Leveling up via PvP, entirely feasible. Warhammer Online, leveling up with PvP, entirely feasible. WoW brought it in, and now they want to nerf it into the ground, so no one will use it anymore. Oh, great. Why would you do that? I can't imagine the Blizzard design meeting. Let's go in there. So we've got Mike Morhaime, we've got Calgan there, and maybe Chris Metzen. So Mike Morhaime saying, right, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we have to sort out the issue with Battlegrounds. They're not quite as good, and people aren't doing them anymore because there's loads of free epics available from the PvEs, as they call them. I'm not really experienced with them myself. I have no idea what a raid dungeon is. However, people seem to be going there, and they're very happy with it. Now, of course, players being happy is something that is not in line with Activision Blizzard's profit margin, and we cannot possibly allow it to happen. So, what will we do? Well, we need to increase the Battlegrounds. So, Calgan, what do you have to say with this? Well, yes, I'm Jeff Calgan. I am a monster of some description, and I'm here to eat you all. However, in the meantime, I'm going to tell you about Battlegrounds, yes. We're going to make the Battlegrounds way easier to join, because people are incredibly fracking lazy. Yes. Incredibly fracking lazy. We'll give them loads more honor for doing absolutely nothing. Here you go, lots of gear, lots of gear, lots of gear. Yes. Metal, what do you say about this? How will you justify this in the law? I don't know. Well, you're going to have to come up with something, otherwise you'll be fired. So do something with space elves and laser beams and perhaps some kind of technological demon. Maybe a Reaper. Yes, let's put some Reapers in there. We'll have Sovereign from Mass Effect fly in and explain to everyone that the only way you can survive is by gathering tons of honor. and then shooting it at him in some kind of cannon. I don't think that fits in with the law, Calgan. I don't care if it fits in with the law. Chris Metzen, you're going to have to sort it out. Do some mushrooms. You like the mushrooms. Do that. Yeah, it'll be something like that. Oh yes, and of course, in the meantime, in order to completely frustrate anybody that actually wants to level via PvP, let's nerf it by 50%. Let's have some kind of law justification for that as well. Ah, yes, that's a brilliant idea, Calgan. You are a genius. Yes, I thought so. You want to touch me? Yes, I'd like to touch you. God, why? I can't imagine. There's no good reason for it. Nothing. Not a single one! If you have one, please email it to me. Oh, we're going to make it so much easier to get into these things. It's going to be really convenient. Yes, leveling via PvP will be as easy as it is in other games. You just queue up and there you go. No problem whatsoever. So let's now make it twice as long. Because obviously, now that we've made the encounters better, people are going to want to go in twice as many. And they're going to accept the fact that everything sucks. Right, the only way this is even remotely acceptable is if you bring in a ton of new honor gear for leveling players, which you're not going to do. Oh, Blizzard, why do you have to ruin everything by making stupid, pointless, unrelated decisions? I love to see their justification for this. Let's see it, Blizzard. Let's have a blue post on that one. So, let's have a look. See what's been going on here. Now, we're looking at the system here, and we've got some more information about it. The system is going to work virtually the same as the random dungeon option. You queue up with a group of up to 5 players for a random battleground in the Battleground tab. As with the random dungeon option, the battleground chosen will not be revealed until players zone into the battleground. Great, so if it's Alterac Valley, I guess I'm zoning out again, as always. Right. Now, bonus rewards for this system as well. Winning a battleground using random battleground at the first time of the day gives you 30 honourable kills worth of currency. 15 honourable kills additionally after that. That's the funny thing. This is actually more attractive to me than the way that the current random dungeon system is. Because to me, Triumph badges are useless. But this is one flat currency. So going into these things over and over again is entirely profitable. And I can't do anything with Triumph badges other than buy gems. I'm fully geared out and stuff like that, and indeed way past it in many respects. But honour's a universal currency. So, in a way, this actually ends up being better. Now, it doesn't stack with Call to Arms, just bear this in mind, so it's one or the other. And there's going to be stuff available in the next minor patch, which is going to be hitting the public test realm. So this is stuff coming in 3.3.3. Whatever the hell it is. Yeah. It's a good system, honestly. I don't understand the experience changes at all. Maybe it's the way that it's tied into the honor system. Maybe it's just a really janky way of sorting things out. It's possible, I guess. So we're going to nerf the experience value because the honor value is too high and they're tied together in the database. Well, how about you don't do that? Because that's really dumb. Just have the values independent of one another. How hard is that? Can't be that difficult. Otherwise, I'm totally fine with that. I have an issue with being forced into certain battlegrounds to get certain stuff. The mark system was dumb. I didn't want to go to Alterac Valley. It's horrible. Personal preference is cool. Obviously, you're going to end up in Alterac Valley anyway, and I suppose you're going to get the same stuff over and over again. I mean, there's way fewer battlegrounds than there are dungeons, so there's a lot less variety to be had there. But I don't see any problem with it. I see no issue in making things easier to get into. It's not like you're telling people, oh, well, the PvP's suddenly easier. It's not. But then again, I suppose you are, by awarding honour that you never really earned. I think that's the real beef I've got with it. Badges. Yeah, completing a dungeon gets you badges, but losing a battleground gets you bonus honour. That doesn't make any sense at all, honestly. Honour's supposed to be earned by actually killing things and successfully completing objectives. That's the real difference. I don't know if I agree with the idea of giving bonus honour to people that lose. Having said that, you've got to bear in mind that it's a system whereby you could lose for something that's outside of your control. You've got battlegrounds that are up to 40 people, so even your team of 5 can't necessarily make the difference. To be honest, what I'd have liked to have seen is a percentile-based increase. Yeah, this is the smarter way to do it, rather than giving a flat amount of honour for something that you may not actually deserve. You know what happens if you get 1 honourable kill 20 deaths, don't heal anything, and yet win the battleground anyway on the basis of someone else's strength. You get bonus honor? Why? You didn't deserve it. What it should be is a percentile-based increase. So, say, for the first battleground, you get, say, 80% more honor, based on what you got in there to begin with. So all of your honorable kills and all of the stuff that you got at the end, that's multiplied. Yeah? Multiplied by 1.8. Whereas with, say, this system, you're getting free stuff for nothing. And I do object to that strongly. I think that's a really dumb idea. Otherwise, it's a good system. I don't get the experience thing. I like the fact that it's going to be easier to get into stuff. And yeah, I will use it, no doubt. I'll absolutely 110% use it. I just think that they're doing it in such a clumsy manner that could be way better and way more reflective of how well you do. My name is Total Biscuit. You're listening to Blue Please on CynicalBrit.com. I'll be back after this. Here's some churros ass for you. Enjoy.